Some places have a lot of corruption and some places have very little corruption. Corruption usually follows opportunity, and where the opportunities are there, because of structure, because of history, because of culture, because of government, we see a lot. In Australia, we have a much higher standard of integrity than what I've observed in the United States, but again, the United States is very vast. What we do have here is a much more simple process of government, and that process of government allows for oversight, allows for integrity to be made into the culture, allows for prosecution, investigation. So we mix prevention, education and criminalisation in a way the United States does not. It's very hard to work out who can learn from what. One of the real problems in the United States is the structure of government as a facilitator of corruption. America is terribly overgoverned. There are so many layers of government, and particularly in New Jersey, where I live, government is run rife. Leading politicians will say there is, but they don't have control. Let me give you one very simple example. The legislature in New Jersey was debating legislation making certain corrupt activities illegal for legislators and public officials. When the legislation finally came to pass, the word legislator was crossed out and it was applied only to public officials. When we look at it globally, what we have are some very significant global anti-corruption activities. The United Nations Convention Against Corruption has been signed by over 160 nations. The OECD has a convention limiting bribery of foreign officials. The World Economic Forum has it. The European Community, the Asian Development Bank, the World Bank, you can go on. And there are very serious efforts and efforts of very goodwill to limit corruption. So it's hard to measure, but some countries that have been very corrupt are now no longer corrupt. It depends on the time frame. 200 years ago, one of the most corrupt countries in Europe was Sweden. Today, Sweden is a paragon of virtue. Countries like Hong Kong and Singapore have shown that they can work and deal very effectively with corruption. There's a difference between corruption and theft. When you start to look at the ethical component in both corruption and in theft, you can see that the global financial crisis has created further opportunities. But I think corruption had been there before and theft has been there before.